Are you interested in going to college, but you just don't know what you want to do? Well, guess what? I got the episode for you. Yeah, I just rhymed there. So if you need some help, go ahead and stay tuned to After the Music. See you there. Welcome to the Lazenby Experience Podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Lazenby, and I'm here to help you along your journey to your success. I will do this by sharing my experiences, as well as give tips and tricks I've learned through my current journey to receive my bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. Throughout this season, I'll be covering topics including myths about college, transfer advice, networking, and much more. So get your pen and paper ready as we dive into each episode to take in something that gets you closer to your success. Welcome and thank you for joining me once again for another episode of the Lazenby Experience Podcast. We are in season 2, episode number 6, where I will be discussing how to select a major. Yes, this is another episode about or for college students. So even if you are not planning on going to college, or if you already graduated, I would still listen to this episode, or at least give it to somebody who could use this information. At the least, you can at least give it to somebody. But before I go into the strategies I think will help you decide the major that you should major in while you're in college, whether you have a major in mind or not, let me go into a little story time. So I really want to talk about how I selected my current major, which is electrical engineering. So at first, before I even started college, somehow I got into my mind that I wanted to be a doctor. I think all my life I always felt like I wanted to help people in some way. I know it's generic or it's cliche to say that, but that was just something that I felt that I wanted to do, which is something I am doing, hopefully with this podcast, but with other aspects of my life as well. But somehow, I don't even remember how, but it probably happened when I was like really younger. You know how they ask you what you want to do when you grow up, and one of the things I said was doctor, and I just stuck with it just because, at least up to a certain point. So before or while I was in high school, all through high school, I felt I was going to go to school and become Dr. Lazenby. But in high school, I got into this engineering program. It's crazy how I got into this engineering program because my advisor advised me to apply for this program, which at the time I didn't know it was an engineering program. I just knew it was a program that my advisor thought I would be interested in. So I, of course, applied for it. I interviewed because there was an interview process, and I got into it in high school. And I did it from my sophomore year in high school up to my senior year in high school. And that really got me interested in engineering. It got me so interested in engineering. I was really confused, or I didn't know what I should do when it came down to choosing a major in college, because I still had this idea of me wanting to be a doctor. But now I found this new interest in engineering. And it's crazy because before I knew anything about engineering, I thought all engineers did the same exact thing. I thought if you're an engineer, you were an engineer. I didn't know there were mechanical engineers and electrical engineers and biomedical engineers and chemical engineers, industrial engineers. I didn't know there is basically an engineer for pretty much any industry you can think of. But luckily, I had a great advisor that got me into this program, got me interested in engineering. And now I'm in my mind, I'm thinking I have to do one or the other. But graciously or gratefully or thankfully, I'm just saying different words, but thankfully, I had some great mentors within that program that showed me that I could potentially do both. I could go to college and major in an engineering called biomedical engineering. And it's probably, hopefully, exactly what you think it is. It's basically engineering in the medical field. So I was like, I got the perfect major. I'm going to be an engineer and I'm going to be a doctor. And that's what I was going to do when I first started college. But as I got into college and as I realized, I don't want to, I like this. Some reason is weird, but I like the smell of hospitals. But I also realized as I was in college that I don't like dealing with sick people or being around a lot of sick people. I don't like blood, and I don't like seeing broken bones. Like, it just, I don't know. I don't know why. And then the crazy thing is, when I was in high school, I remember my mom asking me what type of doctor I wanted to be, and I said I want to be a surgeon, someone who had to deal with all of that. I don't know why I chose surgeon, but as I got older, apparently, I realized being a doctor, especially a surgeon at that, was not what I wanted to really do. But luckily, the major that I did choose, biomedical engineering, was actually was a was a major within the electrical engineering department. So when I went to NIU, Northern Illinois University, their electrical department, you could have been went there to be an electrical engineer, or you could have been a biomedical engineer. And at that time, I chose biomedical engineering. But once I got to college, once I realized not just that I didn't want to be a doctor, but also as I was going to career fairs and I was talking to other people, at least at that time, there wasn't a lot of opportunities for biomedical engineers, especially like for internships and co-ops. And I needed internships and co-ops if I wanted to be successful in finding a career path that I wanted after I graduated. So with those two things, I ended up switching my major to electrical engineering, and I'm glad I switched it. And I switched it in time because I didn't have to take a terrible course called organic chemistry. And I have friends who majored and graduated with a degree in biomedical engineering, and I just heard all the horrors of organic chemistry, and I'm so happy I didn't have to take it. Of course, there are other courses that I do have to take that are not my favorite, but chemistry was never my favorite course, no matter where I was in my education journey. But that's basically my journey of how I selected my major. So I did use some of the things I'm going to be talking about today, but I'm hoping that with everything I talk about today, you find something that can help you with selecting the major that you want to major in when you decide to go to college. But anyway, moving on to my different strategies I think will help you select your major in college. I have 5 strategies I think will be good for you. And I want to start off with number 1. Number 1, I think, is very important. It's probably the most important strategy. I always say every time I'm listing something, I always say whatever I'm currently on is the most important, but they're all important. But I honestly think this is the most important because this is the reason why you have decided to go to college. At least it should be the reason why you decided to go to college. So number 1, what will give you the best ROI? What will give you the best return on your investment? So understand that deciding to go to college is an investment, a financial investment that you are making. So you are deciding to spend an X number of years that will cost an X number amount to gain skills, to make connections that will eventually hopefully get you into a career path that will help you make an X number of dollars. And hopefully that X number of dollars that you make once you graduate will be more than the amount it costs you to get that degree, because that's how you get a return on your investment, is by the outcome being greater than the input, the outcome. Yeah, that. So just like any other type of investment that you can think of, like the stock market or real estate or owning your own business, all of those things, you're hoping you're taking this hopefully calculated risk that will cost you at the beginning, but hopefully that cost will be less than what you get out of it financially. So that's the number one thing you want to understand. This is a investment that you are making, investment opportunity. So based off the cost you to attend your school, what major will most likely give you a career that will pay you back the amount it costs you to go to school? It will pay you back so you can pay off if you took out loans within this is my number, within 5 to 10 years. Hopefully, if you decide to go to school right after high school, you're still in your 20s when you graduate high school. In 5 to 10 years, you're still pretty young. So after you graduate, you don't want to have to spend your whole life paying back a college loan and not being able to use that for other things that you want to do within your life. So again, 5 to 10 years is a number that I selected. It was kind of a random number, but it was also like, what age will I be in 5 to 10 years after I graduate, and what kind of lifestyle do I want to live after that? So definitely, I would think you want to be able to pay off if you take out any loans, be able to pay that back within 5 to 10 years after you graduate. So if you have grants or scholarships that pay for your school that you don't have to pay back, that base number, that tuition number, or that number that you calculate will be a lot less, because that's not money you have to worry about. So if you get a full scholarship for your education, you probably don't even have to worry about this step. I mean, I would still worry about this step, because no matter if you're paying for school or someone else is paying for you to go to school, you still want to find a career that can help you live a lifestyle that you want to live after you graduate, because that was the whole point of going to college, to learn skills so you can get a career that you enjoy that can help you with your goals in life. So next, for the most part, your tuition is not just paying the professors or paying to build buildings. It's also for that school to make a profit. They're not, even though their goal is for you to get a degree, they still have a bottom line that they have to worry about, so they can do other things, so they can sustain their institution. So you should be thinking the same thing. You should be thinking, this is my bottom line, and this is an investment that I'm making. So they're making an investment in you. You should also be thinking about how you're making an investment in them, and you should be thinking about you want to make a profit from them. And your profit is the money you make after you don't have to pay off any more loans. So this is the biggest reason why I don't believe you should go to college if you don't know what you want to do. A lot of people say college is the place for you to find out what you want to do, which is good, especially if you're not paying out of your pocket or taking out any loans. But if you're taking out loans, paying out your pocket to go to a school to figure out what you want to do, there are a lot of other ways you can do that for a lot less money and or free. So if you don't know what you want to do, definitely continue listening to this episode. But if some reason with these tips, with these strategies don't help you find out what you want to do, don't go to college until you're 100%. I won't even say 100%. Until you're, I would say 80 to 90% sure of what you want to do. And it doesn't even have to be what you want to do for the rest of your life. It can be what you want to do for the next part of your life, because nowadays people switch careers a lot. They don't just stick with the same company or stick in the same industry their whole career for 30, 35 years. They evolving. They keep going to different things. They keep trying new things. So if you can't find anything that you think a college degree can help you with your life, then you might not even have to worry about choosing a major. So you don't want to end up spending thousands of dollars and in the end not having anything to show for it. And again, like I said, unless you're going on a full scholarship, then that can make the story different. So you might not have to worry about this step or worry about this strategy as much if you are on a full scholarship. Moving on to strategy number 2 of how to select your major. What do you enjoy doing? / what is your passion? What do you find yourself doing with a smile on your face? What do you find yourself doing because you enjoy doing it and not because of an outcome? What makes you wake up in the morning, or what makes you stay up late at night outside of watching TV or looking at YouTube, I would say? What makes you happy on the inside? What do you have a passion or interest in that can definitely help you get move in the right direction? It might not help you be 100% sure of what your major should be, but it might move you in that industry or move you within that field. But you might say, what if I don't have a passion, or I don't know my passion yet? So I have a couple different things that you can possibly do to help you find something you might be passionate about. So number 1, go volunteer or find a part-time job in that field. Now, of course, there are a lot of fields that it might be hard to find a part-time job or a way to volunteer in. But if you can get close to that field or get close to that type of job, you can possibly get and connect with other people who are in that field or doing that job and learn from them. And when you get to that time, you can potentially make it easier for you to volunteer or get a part-time job to figure out if that's really what you want to do. Like I said, it doesn't have to be exactly what you think you want to do, but if it's in the same field and you're around other people who are doing what you think you want to do, it can definitely help you figure out if that's really what you want to do. I do want to tell this one story about how I volunteered at a hospital with one of my siblings and some of my cousins. I'm not going to tell you how it ended, at least not today, but definitely I did enjoy volunteering at a hospital. And that's one reason why I did want to become a doctor, because I did enjoy, again, helping people. We were basically moving patients when they have to be transported to other parts of the other parts of the hospital, because they have to do different testing or have to do physical therapy or something like that. So we transported, they were usually older patients, and we help transport them to different parts of the hospital. And you got to talk to the patient and get to know them a little bit. And sometimes you might move them more than one time, so you really get to know some of the patients. But that's one reason why I had a passion for being a doctor or helping people. Moving on, what if what I enjoy doing doesn't have a major or a degree? Then you probably don't need to go to college, or you might want to find something else that you enjoy that does need a degree, so you can, if you really want to go to college, find something else that you're passionate about or that you have interest in that does need a degree, so you can get that degree and start a career within that field. Be creative and see if you can enjoy doing something that can become a business. So maybe you don't need to go to college. Maybe you can start a business and do that. And of course, there's going to be a steep curve, a learning curve when it comes to starting your own business. But at least you'll be doing something that you're interested in or have a passion for. And 2, you could possibly be making some money while you're learning instead of having to pay thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars to get into something that you think you're interested in. Lastly, with this strategy, the thing is, if you don't enjoy what you're doing or going to school for, it will make it 10 times harder to finish when it comes to courses that are more specific and more challenging. So once you start getting to your major courses, the courses that are geared towards your major, if it's not really something you're passionate about or you enjoy doing, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to continue. And you don't want to get into something where you're having too hard of a time to pass your courses and you're not enjoying what you're doing. So definitely make sure it is something that you enjoy doing or you can find yourself doing in the future before you deciding to make a major from it. Next, going on to strategy number 3. What are you already good at? So what is something that comes easy to you and that you want to improve on? So maybe you are a photographer, maybe you already know how to play an instrument, or maybe you already did some computer programming while you're in high school and now you enjoyed that, you're good at it, and now you just want to improve on your skill. That is definitely a way to go as well. Like I said, what is something you learned in high school that you did really well in and you want to continue learning? Again, that can definitely help you when it comes to dealing with courses or being in courses. Once you get to your major courses and it started getting difficult, you can start, you already have that mindset of wanting to learn more about this subject. So you're going to push harder so you can continue to learn about that subject. Is there a hobby that brings you peace and people say you're really good at? So maybe you have to go to other people and see if they know, from the outside looking in, if there's something that they think you're really good at, that can possibly help you find if that's something that you want to continue doing as a major or as a career path. Then last thing I want to say about this strategy is getting a college degree will put you around like-minded individuals and help you take your talents to the next level. So if you do end up going to college and is based off something that you're really good at, it can definitely help you when it comes to networking with other people who are also really good at or interested in that same thing, and help you connect with professors, help you connect with faculty who also know other people who have graduated, and get you connected so you can have a career path after you graduate. So definitely, if there's something that you're good at already before you even enter college, that is definitely a way to go when it comes to choosing a major. So moving on to strategy number 4. What is something this world is in demand of right now, or at the time that you're trying to select a major? So selecting a major in a field that is in demand will give you a higher chance of not only finding a job, but finding a high-paying job when you graduate. An example is right now in this world, we are really tech, tech driven. So there's a lot of companies, not just tech companies, but companies, any kind of company are looking for people who are in the tech field. A lot of mostly like people who can code or who can program. So if you're into that type of field right now, once you graduate, you probably have an easier time finding not only a career that you like, but a career that pays you well, and so you can continue living, or so you can live a lifestyle that you want to live. Also understand what type of degree you get, what type of degrees you see employers are looking for or listing when you're looking at job applications. So this might be a little bit more research you have to do. Maybe look into companies that you're interested in, or look into positions you're interested in applying for, whether it's an internship, co-op, or whatever, and seeing what qualifications or what majors or degrees they want their candidates to have, and that can help you move in that direction. Lastly, you can literally Google what skills or major companies are in demand of, and I'm pretty sure Google will come up with articles that have lists of different majors or different degrees that you can get that are in demand for today's world. most likely you'll probably find something in the STEM field or related, but there are also other skills that are needed as well. So if you're not interested in going to the STEM field, which I think you should, because again, you will probably most likely always find a good career. But if you're not interested in the STEM field, there are other skills that are needed within companies right now that they're looking for. I said this a lot, not just during this episode, but during other episodes. But remember, going to college is a financial investment. You want to get the best chance of finding a career that will get you the best ROI. And right now, I know I'm talking a lot about financial ROI, but there are other types of ROI you want to think about too. Will it afford you the type of lifestyle you want to live? Will it make you happy? Will it give you a career that you can be proud of, that you can want to wake up to every day or go to every day? It's not just a 9 to 5 and you're just wishing for the weekend. It's a job that you enjoy going to every day and that you will work on the weekend because you enjoy doing it so much. So remember, going to college, getting a degree is mostly a financial investment and you're looking for a great ROI. So going into my 5th strategy, I think will help you select the major that you want to get into or help you select a major, is always asking a trusted advisor or mentor. And the reason why I say trusted advisor, because in high school, most likely you are assigned an advisor based off your last name or based off whatever criteria your high school based it off of. And it might not be somebody you can really trust with their opinion about you, because unfortunately, there are some advisors in high school that are there just because it's a job and they have to be there, and they're not there to help students as much as they should be. So definitely you want to go to a trusted advisor, even if it's not an advisor that is assigned to you or mentor to. An advisor or mentor may be able to see something about you that you don't see in yourself yet. So like I talked about with my my advisor in high school, she saw that I was interested or I was doing well in my math and science classes, and she thought that particular program that she wanted me to sign up for or apply for would be something that I was interested in. And turns out it's not just something that I was interested in, but something I wanted to continue after I graduated from high school. So they can definitely help you in that aspect. Advisor or a mentor might also be able to introduce you to career paths that you really never heard of or even thought of. A lot of people know about being a doctor, being a lawyer, being a teacher, being an engineer, but there are other things out there that you can do that is not really mainstream or really talked about a lot, like being an electrician or being a plumber or owning your own business. There are other things out there that you can do that are not talked about a lot. So talking with your advisor can definitely help you see other majors or see other fields that you never really thought of. They might also be able to introduce you to people in those fields or other fields you might be interested in. Again, being able to talk with people within those fields will help you decide if that's something that you want to do or find interesting enough to go to school to learn more about. So definitely talk to, like I said, a trusted advisor or mentor, whether it is like an established mentor-mentee relationship, or it's just a person that you look up to that you got a lot of advice from and you feel they can help you select the major that you want to get into. So those are my 5 strategies I think can help you when it's time to select a major if you're planning on going to college. But if you're still listening to my episode right now, I want to give you one more strategy. I want to give you a bonus strategy. And that bonus strategy is taking online career quizzes. I'm pretty sure if you're in high school right now, you probably already taken one or at least heard of them, but these can definitely help you if you're taking them seriously and you're being honest when you're answering the questions. They can help you look at fields that you probably never thought of or maybe even heard of. It can help you see majors and professions that will be interests of you based off different questions that they ask. They can help you put your passions, your gifts, and your talents into multiple career options as well. So if you already know what you like to do, but you don't see a major or you don't see a career path that it can take you, these quizzes can help you find, again, those different career paths that you might have never heard of before taking that quiz. And the great thing about these quizzes is, if you don't already know, most of them, if not all of them, are free and can be found with a simple Google search. So definitely do some Google searching on maybe online career quizzes or quizzes to select a major for college or something like that that can help you, a quiz that you can take that can help you select a major or a profession you might be interested in. I will also suggest that you might take more than one just to see if similar results come up. And if those similar results do come up, you can kind of go off of that. But if other results, if they are not as similar or if they're not similar, then you can have other things to look at and possibly talk to your advisor or mentor and say, I took this quiz. These are different things that it said I will be good at or could be passionate about. What are your thoughts on these different majors or these different professions? And they can possibly help you dig deeper into one or two of those things and say, I see that you like this, and it could possibly help you with this career path and stuff like that. So I think online quizzes can definitely be helpful when it comes to helping you to decide what you want to do, what you want to major in once you graduate high school, if you plan on going to college, of course. So before I leave this episode, I want to give you some advice of the week or for the week. You are free, of course, to use any of these strategies, a combination of these strategies, all of these strategies, none of these strategies. So please, again, take everything I say with a grain of salt and try to use it as much as you can, as much of it that makes sense to you. Definitely use it because I just want to make sure that I'm putting out content that can help you, again, live a successful and happy life. Number 2, the end goal is for you to be able to find something you enjoy doing and give you the life you enjoy living. So you don't just want to find something that can help you pay your bills or to make a lot of money. You want to make sure it's something that you enjoy doing and you can live a type of lifestyle that you want to live. Last advice I want to leave you is also understand whatever major you decide to have, whatever major you decide doesn't have to be a career choice for the rest of your life. I think I talked about this a little bit, but just because you majored in something in college and you started a career in that field or in that industry doesn't mean that have to be something you do for the rest of your life. I know a lot of generations before us, if they went to college and got a degree, they found a job. Whether they liked it or not, they stayed with that job. They either stayed within that position or moved up within that same company and stayed with them for 25, 30, 35 years and then retired. And that's what they did. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but that's not the only thing. College is just a stepping stone to help you get to where you want to be. Or get you from where you are to where you want to be. So definitely that's what you should be getting out of college if you decide to go. So again, thank you for listening to this episode of the Lazenby Experience podcast. I hope you learned something from it, or I hope you learned something that can help someone else. So definitely share. Well, before I get to that, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this episode, about any of my strategies I talked about today, please feel free to email me at lazenbyexperience@gmail.com. That's LAZENBY experience@gmail.com. Also, it would be great if you can follow, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms that you like to listen to podcasts on. That's including YouTube, that's including Facebook, that's including Apple Podcast. But it also includes anywhere else that you like to listen to podcasts. Also know that season 1 is available on all those platforms as well. So if you have not had a chance to listen to season 1 of the Lazenby Experience podcast, it is available to you on all those platforms. So go ahead and binge watch, listen to season 1. Lastly, if you are not that interested in continue listening to this lovely voice of mine, I have blog posts that you can also read about each of these episodes, including this episode. So if you would like to read my blog post about this episode, you can go to lazenbyexperience.wordpress.com and you can read about this episode. You can read about every other episode within this season. And guess what? There are also other blog posts that I have posted before I even started a podcast. So if you like to read, there's a lot of stuff in there that you can read and continue to learn and grow from. So definitely check that out if you enjoy reading. Once again, I would like to say thank you for listening to another episode of the Lazenby Experience podcast. And until next time, continue your journey until you reach your success. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Lazenby Experience podcast. I hope you're able to get something out of it to help you with your success. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow, like, share, and subscribe on all platforms, including YouTube, Facebook, and Apple Podcasts at the Lazenby Experience. Have questions about this episode or have topics you would like me to cover in the future? Send me an email at lazenbyexperience@gmail.com. That's LAZENBY experience@gmail.com. Lastly, I would like to give a huge shout out to Jamari Michael of Indigo Entertainment Group for the instrumentals you heard throughout this episode. Again, thank you for listening to the Lazenby Experience podcast, and until next time, continue your journey until you reach your success.
Shh.